Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Gnosis, and this is by far the most excited I've ever been for a video because we're breaking down the new mechanics training map from Raider464, and this is easily the single greatest map for practice I've experienced in 4 years of playing Fortnite. And the craziest part is that the legend that is Raider actually gave me early access to learn this map when he found out that we're building a community of beginner to intermediate players looking to improve so that I could learn the map and explain it to all of you in a way that's easy to follow and learn the same day the map comes out. So be sure to show Raider all the love. His links will be below in the description along with the code of this map. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. So there's a lot on this map to go over, starting with edit Crosshair Training over here to the left. Now when you come up to this wall, you can select which edits you want to practice, and by default Raider has the 5 most useful edits for fights selected, but you can turn on and off whichever you want just by shooting them. Now once in, you'll see that your character is moving on their own, either up and down, left and right, or forwards and backwards. You'll also see a red marker on the wall, usually a circle or a semicircle, and this marker shows how to perform that specific edit while using the least amount of crosshair movement possible. This drill honestly blew my mind when I first jumped in. Every crosshair training like this I've ever done has you just standing in front of a wall, and even though you could force yourself to move around, you still weren't getting forced to edit from so many different angles in such a short amount of time. For my beginner players, really take your time when you start this. Focus more on keeping your crosshair as close to the red circles as possible as opposed to focus on your speed and how many edits you can do. Once you find yourself consistently hitting edits with minimal crosshair movement, that's when you can slowly start upping your speed and going crazy with it. I'm not even kidding, after my first hour doing this drill, I instantly could tell a huge difference in consistency with my edits. Now once you're done here, grab this remote from your inventory and hit your fire button to get back to the lobby. Next up, we have this wall here for piece control tunnels, and this is broken down into 2 sections, with one being build replace and the other being targets. Now to start, let's take a look at build replace. There are 6 scenarios here, so just shoot the number for which one you want to start with. So the purpose here is to build and edit through these tunnels while also taking any enemy walls that we see. And the whole purpose of this is just get you comfortable building and editing in all sorts of different directions while also being aware of enemy builds and going for their walls to establish piece control. I've been using piece control tunnels on Raider's maps for what feels like years now, yet just the addition of having to go for walls now while doing them, I can already feel is improving my building IQ as well as my consistency so much. Now for my beginner to intermediate players, don't worry so much about speed or how many builds you're even placing while doing these. There's no right or wrong way to do these, so experiment with different types of builds and edits for different scenarios and focus more on your consistency than anything else. Now looking at piece control targets, this is the same concept as before, but this time instead of taking walls, we're establishing piece control on a target and taking the shot before moving on through the tunnel. Now one thing you really want to focus on in this section is taking optimal peaks when shooting the target. Remember, speed is not the focus here if you're not at a high level, so instead of just making wide edits and trying to get easy shots off, really take your time to set up good peaks. The more you do this, the faster you will naturally get. Next up, we have piece control peak training, and let me tell you guys, this drill exposed a huge hole in my game, and the speed at which I'm learning new peaks and improving is actually insane. So the purpose of this drill is to build towards the bot, establish piece control on them, and then get the elimination. But the twist is, if you are exposed to where the bot could shoot you if they were a real player, you take damage. And I know what you're thinking, this can't be that hard, but it honestly blew my mind how exposed I leave myself in fights when I really started grinding this. So the best advice I have the first time you do this drill is to just play how you normally would in a fight in a real match for about 10 minutes and see which bad habits in your building are cause you to take damage, which bad edits are you making that causes you to be exposed. Now once you have a good idea of the holes in your building and your editing, start experimenting with different ways of going for the same type of piece control, but this time using different edits and peaks. Really take your time with this, and I promise there is so much to learn here. The next drill on this incredible map is box fight training, and I know I've said this about every part of the map so far, but once again this absolutely blew my mind. You're actually box fighting against AI opponents, and they have their aggression cranked up so that they're constantly putting pressure and spraying through your walls, and sometimes even going for your walls with a pickaxe. Now if you're a player who struggles with fighting multiple opponents at once, struggles with where to put your focus when you get third partied, or just a player that struggles against players who spam with spray weapons, this drill will completely change your playstyle for the better. You have the option to go against anywhere between 2 to 5 enemies, so if you're a beginner or just someone who struggles fighting in high pressure situations, I would start with 2 and slowly work your way up to 5 once you're comfortable. Now one thing in particular I would encourage you guys to practice here is to always be moving and looking for new angles. If you piece control one of the bots, make an edit but don't get the elimination, don't just peek back through that same edit, but instead wrap around for another wall, take a cheeky shot from above. Just make sure you're always moving and always taking new angles. That's one thing you always notice that elite players do, is that they are always moving in fights, and this drill is an amazing place to start practicing that. Moving on now to edit towers. This is just like the drill from Raider's last mechanics map that I covered, with the purpose here being to perfect the timing on your edits. Your goal here should be to press your edit key and your select edit key at the exact same time, to the point that you never even see the tile turn blue. Start off slow on these and really get that timing down to where you are instant editing every single time. Now once you get that timing down, you can slowly start to increase your speed. You will amaze yourself with just how fast you're able to edit once you really get this timing down. And finally, the last drill to cover is the AI bot free build drill, and this is honestly just so much fun. This is just a massive area where you have unlimited mats to practice your free building, with the twist here being that there are constantly bots spawning in for you to build an edit course towards, hit piece control on, and pick up eliminations with. Free building is one of the most important things you can do to improve your mechanics, and just this simple addition of now having enemies involved in that process really adds another layer to it that will give you insane results if you spend a lot of time practicing this. Alright guys, so there you have it, my beginner's guide to using the new mechanics training map from Raider464. And I have to give a massive thank you to Raider for allowing me early access to this map so I could get this video out for you guys the same day he dropped the map. Raider has been the biggest influence on my game for years now, and to this day I spend an hour minimum a day on his maps, so it was an absolute honor to put this video together with his blessing. Make sure you guys go show him all the love, and until next time, keep on grinding.